Well, a very, very happy Wednesday morning to everyone, and welcome to the John Kentera Show on YouTube, on Facebook, and X. Glad you could join me on this Wednesday morning. Well, got a lot to uncover. A lot to uncover and talk about as the Padres work their way towards the All-Star break. They got two more games against the Arizona Diamondbacks. So far, they're 1-1. Then they've got the Philadelphia Phillies rolling into town Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then the All-Star break. And the Padres will start the second half on the road, a 10-game road trip coming up after they finish up the first half on Sunday against the Philadelphia Phillies. Hope everyone's having a great week. Oh man, I don't really know where to start, but I am going to start with thanking all of you for tuning into our program. Our listening audience is growing. Please tell a friend. We want to keep this show rolling for a long period of time. And if you haven't already subscribed, it doesn't cost a dime. Please subscribe. Please like. And also make sure to turn on the notifications because with the trading deadline coming up on July 30th, you never know when we may have a special show, an emergency show one night at 10 o'clock at night. So you got to stay tuned for that. But again, I want to thank everyone for tuning in, and I want to thank everyone for all of the kind comments that I've received over the last several weeks regarding this show, thanking me for doing this show on a regular basis. I know a lot of you would like me to get back on 5 days a week, talking Padres, talking Aztecs, talking everything San Diego and Southern California sports, but not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. I do appear normally once a week on 760 on the Fletch Zone. I'm sure I'll be on this Thursday. We have a great time with Fletch and Sammy Long. And of course, I filled in for Fletch last week on 760 on the third or second and third. And we had a great couple of days. That was a lot of fun, but not going to happen. I'm doing a lot of things in my life I haven't had the opportunity to do really my entire adult life. Financially, I'm in fine shape. Made a lot of smart decisions a few years back. If something were to come up, you always look at it. You never say no, but I don't see it happening. Somebody asked me the other day, what do you want to get done in your life? I go, well, I think I've done a lot in my life, but I still got great passion for sports. I still want to be involved. It's like doing the strike force. Somebody said to me the other night, why are you doing the Strike Force games? I go, because I'm having fun. I like doing it. I love doing UC San Diego basketball. I love doing the Big West Baseball Championship. I love being out in the community. Always been a community guy. Love doing remote broadcast, all that good stuff. I was asked a week ago if I was going to get back into coaching at the high school level. I had a football coach say, when are we going to get you back out coaching? I go, those days are probably come and gone for a variety of reasons. Number one, I have 6 grandchildren, and I like watching them play. But physically, I don't know if I could hold up the way I went at things, even in radio. I mean, I'm a grinder, and I'm intense. I have fun when I'm on the air, but leading up to being on the air, I bear down, man. I was up at 6:30 this morning out on my patio writing up notes from the game last night. And man, we got a lot to cover. And I'm gonna get into it. I want to start with Monday night. Yu Darvish making a start, and I thought my expectations were not great for Yu Darvish, but you know what? I thought he did a hell of a job. I thought he really did a hell of a job. He ended up taking the loss, but he went 3 2/3, gave up 3 hits, couple of earned runs, 3 walks, hit a batter, had 5 strikeouts. I mean, his command wasn't there, but you know what? You could tell this guy has put some time in by reinventing himself. He's not going to throw 97, 98 miles an hour. Every once in a while, maybe adrenaline will kick in and he'll throw that hard for a few pitches, but he's going to work 93, 94. But he got great spin on his breaking ball. I think as long as he's healthy, and I heard yesterday he felt pretty good, and hopefully he feels good today. I was encouraged. I was encouraged. He probably went deeper in the game than I thought he was going to go. He threw 63 pitches, 41 strikes, but the command wasn't there. But I thought he had a good rhythm. He looked very calm out on the mound, and overall, that was a real positive, very much a positive, I thought, for Yu Darvish. and I'm sure next time his command will be a little bit better. And then they went to the bullpen. Yuki Matsui, an inning and a third, couple of hits, couple of earned runs, gave up that homer to Josh Naylor, who, by the way, is going to be a free agent. Man, he's a dangerous hitter. Brian Hoeing, an inning and a third, couple of hits, a punch out. Wandy Peralta gave up a couple of earned runs in an inning and a third. Eduardo Nunez, an inning and a third, gave up one hit. In all, the Padre bullpen that night, 5 and a third, 6 hits and 4 runs. They get beat 6-3, out hit 9-2. 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position. Manny had a big night. And I'm going to get to Manny in a minute, but Manny was 3 for 5 with his 15th homer, and we know he got his 2,000th hit that night. Aside from that, not a whole lot going on. I mean, Jackson Merrill was 0 for 5 with 2 strikeouts. He got taken out of the number 2 spot Tuesday night, dropped him down to 5th. He's a mess right now. Absolute mess. If he didn't have a contract and he wasn't a poster boy for the Padres, and he was 22 years of age, they'd probably send him down to the minor leagues for a week or two to kind of get himself back together. But Padres don't have that luxury, and he's still playing great defense. He robbed a big 2-run homer last night. Fernando made a great catch last night, robbing Josh Naylor of a potential home run late in the ball game. But Jackson Merrill looks absolutely awful at the plate. Awful at the plate. Can't hit the high fastball. Got to stay on top of it. And they continue. Everybody's paying attention. They're pounding him up. Then they'll come down and in. And he's having a really, really difficult time. And last night, he ended up going 0 for 3 after being dropped from number 2 in the order to number 5. But like I said, if he was 22 years of age and didn't have the resume that he put together last year, I mean, he'd not been very good the last couple of months. I know he's coming back from a concussion, and it just hasn't worked. And maybe he's got the after effects of the concussion. I don't know. But watching him, and this is the first time that I've actually seen him really frustrated at the plate. It just doesn't seem to be himself at all. Okay? But last night, the Padres win a ball game without ever getting a runner into scoring position. Luis Arraez, leadoff homer in the 7th inning off of Merrill Kelly, who threw one hell of a ball game last night. He deserved a better fate. I mean, Merrill Kelly, 7 strong innings last night, gave up 4 hits, gave up that leadoff homer in the 7th to Arraez, 77 pitches through 7. I mean, he had the Padre hitters eaten out of his hands. He did a hell of a job. Padres left 2 runners on. They had nobody in scoring position. And the Diamondbacks, they only had 3 hits, and we'll get to Nick Pivetta here in a second. They left 9 on. They were 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position and left the bases loaded 2 different times. That one inning, Nick Pivetta, man, what a hell of an effort by him. They had the bases loaded. They walked Josh Naylor intentionally to go against Eugenio Suarez and Lourdes Gurriel Jr., and Pivetta struck them both out to end the inning. A hell of an effort by Nick Pivetta. And Pivetta last night, 5 2/3, 2 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts. Lowered his ERA down to 3.07. The guy's 9-2. And it looks like he's going to be sitting home next Tuesday night watching the All-Star game if he even watches it. Guy deserves to be in the All-Star game. There's no doubt about that. I mean, he's earned it. Where would the Padres be without Nick Pivetta, with King out and Darvish out until the other night? I mean, for crying out loud, Nick Pivetta deserves to go. Robert Suarez got an invite yesterday, and I'm fine with that. I know he hasn't had the great year ERA, but he's also leading the National League in saves. And besides that, I like Robert Suarez. I think he's a good pro. He got 3 blown saves, but he's got 26 saves on the year, doing a hell of a job. You know, nobody's perfect. Okay, last night, the bullpen, hell of an effort. Estrada, Morejon, Suarez, they got the job done. There's no question about it. Adrian Morejon's been fantastic. He vultured the win last night. He won a third of an inning, had a walk and a strikeout. 6-3 ERA down to 1.79. Jason Adam, 1 inning and a hit, 1.58 ERA. And Robert Suarez coming in, as I mentioned, notched his 26th save. Estrada was the first guy to the bullpen last night, 1 inning, walk, hit a batter, but he also had 3 strikeouts. So the Padre bullpen didn't pitch very well on Monday night. Were very, very good on Tuesday night. Offensively, not a whole lot. Fernando, 1 for 3. Arraez, 1 for 3, his 5th homer of the year. Gavin Sheets, 1 for 3. And how about Gavin Sheets? He gets a hit. Gets taken out of the game. They bring in Bryce Johnson in the 7th inning. He gets picked off for first base. That's the last thing you want to do when you're a pinch runner is get picked off at first base. Now, if you get thrown out stealing, that's one thing, but man, getting picked off at first base, and initially they called him safe, but on the review, he never got that hand to the bag. It was a little bit too late, so he had to pick himself up and jog over to the bench. Xander Bogaerts had a hit, 1 for 2 and a walk. He's hitting 257. This Padre team is so frustrating to watch. It really is. And I just don't think, unless they make a couple of I'm not going to say significant moves, but you got to get a couple of guys in here that can hit in the bottom part of this order. I mean, the catching's a joke offensively. Defensively, they're adequate. And they're not Johnny Bench or Pudge Rodriguez or Pudge Fisk or Thurman Munson. These guys are adequate. I mean, Maldonado's not the same catcher he was a few years ago when he won a Gold Glove. I mean, balls are bouncing off his glove. Diaz is down on that one knee and kind of struggles moving around back there. I'm big fans of catchers because I know how tough it is to catch. I caught for 11 years as a kid growing up and into college and a lot of semi-pro catching. It's a tough position. And there's a lot to navigate back there. But man, these guys are no threat. I thought Diaz would, hit 250 to 260. I mean, after last night, an 0 for 3 with a strikeout, he's hitting 202 on the year. And it's not because he's playing too much or he's tired, he's fatigued. I'm getting tired of hearing about all the excuses. Get the job done. And I'm not just blaming Diaz. I'm tired about everybody's banged up this time of year. Everybody's banged up, got bumps and bruises. Some guys are looking forward to the All-Star break. I'm sure everybody is. But man, if you're a baseball player, that's what you want to do. You want to play baseball. And I just don't know if the Padres are going to have enough. They've got to make some moves. I don't know if AJ's allowed to make moves. I have no idea what this ownership is going to do. But I want to talk about Manny here. I think Manny deserves a little time on my program today. Monday night, reached a 2,000 hit club. He's already got 350 plus homers. And I'm going to give you his numbers. I'm going to give you his numbers this year, and I'm going to give you his career numbers. He's having a hell of a year right now. He really is. And I know he slowed down in the last month. His average has dipped under 300, but he's still having a hell of a year. But Monday night, first inning, line drive single to left for hit number 1,999. Fourth inning, led off with a short single. The deep shortstop went off the glove of Geraldo Perdomo. All the way was a base hit. Okay, they weren't going to throw him out. They couldn't have thrown him out if he'd have crawled to first base as a base hit. So he gets hit number 2,000. Then in the eighth inning, he comes up and for good measure tags a leadoff homer, his 15th of the year to left field. So a big night for Manny Machado. And congratulations to Manny, 2,001 hits now. Probably 38, 39 without injuries, 40 if he misses some games along the way. Because this guy's in the lineup every day. This guy wants to play every day. But probably, maybe late in his 38th season or early in his 39th season, you figure maybe 150 hits a year. Maybe that's a little bit light. Because he's still got some really good prime years left. He's still playing at a very high level. But probably by 39, he should be able to get to the 3,000 hit mark. He's going to the Hall of Fame. I mean, he is going to the Hall of Fame. And Nolan Arenado's going to the Hall of Fame. Both those guys are going to the Hall of Fame. And I thought it was interesting. Manny's won, 2 Gold Gloves, but he's never won a Gold Glove in the National League. And I don't know if he'll win one this year. He's got 11 errors, but he hasn't made an error in a while. But Nolan Arenado's got 10 Gold Gloves. And you look, and Arenado's not having a good year at all with the Cardinals. But, hitting in the 240s, not a lot of power, starting to give ground a little bit. Maybe he needs that change of scenery, as they like to say. But both those guys are going to the Hall of Fame. But Arenado's got 10 Gold Gloves. Manny's got 2. But man, he's going to the All-Star game, his fourth start, his seventh All-Star game appearance. But I wanted to kind of take a look at this season and take a look at Manny's career and look at his numbers. This season, he's hitting 290 with 15 homers, 53 RBIs. He's got a 351 on base percentage and an OPS of 831. I'm a big OPS plus guy. That's the one number that I like to look at. 100 is considered average. Well, Manny Machado this year, his OPS plus is 30, 130. So he's 30% better than the average major league player. That's a hell of an effort. Now, career-wise, and I mentioned he's having a big year, hitting 290 right now. We'll see where he finishes. But he's got a career 280 average with 357 home runs, 1,102 RBIs, 339 on base percentage, an 826 OPS, and again, an OPS plus for his entire career. Remember, he's 33, but he broke into the big leagues with Baltimore at 19. A 125 OPS plus. Those are great numbers. Great numbers. And those are offensive numbers. And think about what he does defensively. I mean, Manny can irritate you from time to time with his body language, not running out ground balls real hard. But the guy's a Hall of Famer. I'll leave it at that. I mean, he's had a hell of a career, and it's far from being done. Far from being done. Okay. We got to get to a guy that I'm a big fan of, and that's Luis Arraez. I guess my question would be to the Padre ownership. And I would imagine A.J. Preller would want to bring him back. Why wouldn't you bring back a guy that's already won 3 batting titles and he's 28 years of age? But how much money will the Padres offer to keep Luis Arraez? Now think about this. He's playing a power position. He's a non-power player, but he's a good hitter. Puts the ball in play. What's he struck out so far this year? 9 times, I think. He struck out the other night. I think it was his 9th time he struck out all year. Puts the ball in play. Plays with a little bit of flair. He's definitely gotten better at first base, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. But I want to take a look at his career numbers here. And I'm going to ask you fans right now on our show today, and I want your opinion. When we're going to get out to Coach's crew here in just a minute, and I want your opinion. This is a tough one. I think this is a tough one for all the teams that may be looking at Luis Arraez, because he's a guy that plays he's a non-power player at the position he plays. Okay? So far in his career, he's a 319 career hitter. On base percentage, career 367, slug 417, an OPS of 784, and an OPS plus of 117. Not a base stealer. Not a guy that's going to drive the ball out of the ballpark, but a guy that puts the ball in play and keeps the line moving. I think he's a good offensive catalyst. I think you hit him anywhere in the lineup. We've seen him hit first. We've hit him second. He obviously could hit third. He's hit fourth quite a bit this year. The guy puts the ball in play. He makes defenses make plays. And he's got a knack for slapping the ball the other way and doesn't strike out. This year so far, after a slow start, remember he started out 0 for 13? Well, since then he's hit 304. But right now, anybody want to bet that he finishes in the top 2 or 3 in the league in hitting? I mean, he's getting better and better right now. He's up to 293, 327 on base percentage, 409 slug, a 736, and an OPS plus that's going up at 105. Guys won the batting title in 2022. AL batting champ with Minnesota hit 316. 2023 NL batting title with Miami hit 354. Last year combined with Miami and San Diego won the NL batting crown 314. 3-time All-Star. Going to be a free agent making $14 million this year. What do you offer him? I was thinking there might be some teams out there that would give him $20 million, but that would be a reach. What would you offer Luis Arraez? Realistically, what to keep him in San Diego? What would you offer him? Would you offer him 15? Would you offer him, 16 million a year? Maybe a 3-year deal at $16 million a year. You know, these are the things that Arraez brings to the table. He plays hard, great attitude, team guy. He's worked his ass off at first base. He's become very good at first base, not only fielding ground balls, former second baseman, but he's really done a good job of his footwork at first. And every once in a while, he'll get tied up a little bit, but he's still growing and learning. But he's gotten a lot better at digging balls out of the dirt. And again, he's not going to turn 29 until next April 9th. So, I mean, you're getting a guy really in the prime of his career right now. What do you pay for Luis Arraez to keep him here in San Diego? And there's nothing to say that the Padres wouldn't trade him this year. I mean, if they don't feel that they can re-sign him, they may trade him. The Padres, between now and July 30th, what are the Padres going to do? In some ways, and I know fans don't want to hear this, but I'm trying to look at the short term and I'm trying to look at long term. And I'm really, really concerned about the long term because we don't have a farm system right now. The kids that are in the farm system that are considered top prospects are in double A on the injured list or in high A and performing okay. So I'm really concerned about where our farm system is at right now. And I'm worried that this team here, they could limp into the playoff. This is not a great team. There are too many holes on this team. There really is. And for the amount of money that's been spent on this roster, it's not very good. It really isn't. The bench is deplorable. I mean, the bench, quite frankly, for a competitive team that's supposed to be going after a World Series, it's beyond awful. It's just a pathetic bench. It really is. They've got to figure that out, and I don't know if they will. You ever notice when the Padres sign all these like guys at the end of their careers, the Nelson Cruzes, the Matt Carpenters, the Yuli Gurriels, and I know Matt Carpenter hooked up again with St. Louis a year ago, and he did actually okay, but most of these guys never get picked up by another ball club. And I think that that's the same thing with some of the guys on this ball club here. If they get let go, I don't know if they're going to show up in the big leagues again. But the bench is pathetic, absolutely pathetic. And, you know, the catching situation is what it is. And when you look around baseball right now, there's not a whole lot out there, catching wise. There really isn't. So I don't know what the Padres are going to do with that. I mean, you could bring Camposano up, but if you bring him up, let the guy play. You know, get him out of the witness protection program. Let the guy catch. At least let him go back there and see if he can get the job done. If not, then you tie a can to his tail during the winter. You let him walk. But this roster cannot win a world championship. There are too many good teams in the National League. Dodgers are scuffling right now. Giants are pretty good. Giants, they've got that magic working. I don't know if you saw how they won the game Tuesday night. Oh, my God. You got to go online and see how they won it. They won on a 3-run inside the park home run by their catcher, Patrick Bailey. I mean, the last time that happened was in the 1920s. Crazy. And the Mets, the Phillies, the Cubs, the Milwaukee Brewers, all those teams are pretty good. All those teams are pretty good. I expect the Dodgers to get better. They're trying to get their guys healthy. Glasnow's pitching today against Milwaukee. Dodgers have lost 5 in a row. Freddie Freeman looks lost at the plate. Mookie Betts, not very good. Ohtani hits a homer, but lines out to the catcher or bounces out to first base a lot. They're scuffling. Will Smith's been one guy to help them. Andy Pages, Max Muncy, who's out for, 6 weeks minimum with a bone bruise. And Dodgers got a lot of issues, but they're going to be getting guys back. They got a lot of depth. I mean, Dodgers still 19 games over 500, and that's a minor miracle considering everything they've had to navigate. But the Padres, they could fight and claw and get into the postseason, but then they're going to lose a bunch of guys, and they're going to have nothing to show for it. I mean, you think Michael King's coming back next year? Can the Padres afford Michael King? We know Dylan Cease's not coming back, for crying out loud. By the way, he's pitching tonight. He's not coming back. Will Arraez come back? I don't know. As why I'm bringing it up today. What do you pay Luis Arraez? That one there is really hard to gauge because you'd like a guy at the corner that can hit the ball out of the ballpark. I know he hit his 5th home run last night, but I like this guy. I think he's a good guy, good team guy, out there early with a good attitude every day, taking his ground balls. So you tell me, what would you pay Luis Arraez? Give him a 3-year contract, 4-year contract? You tell me. Because I think every team in baseball, if they're looking at him, they're going to have a hard time gauging how much to give him because he's playing a power position and he's a non-power player. But I think he's a damn good baseball player and a great guy. By the way, Mike Schultz got ejected last night. It's 3rd time this year. You know, he's standing up for his guys. That's what I always hear. It was kind of ridiculous to get ejected in that situation. He could have barked at the umpire. He didn't have to get ejected. But anyways, he's going to do it his way. He's more concerned about all the players liking him than anything else. And that's why he always he never even like criticizes a team in general. I mean, you're never going to criticize a player in general, but you could criticize your team didn't play well. I watched Dave Roberts the other night. Dave Roberts said, man, we got to pitch better. We got to feel better. We got to hit better. He goes, we're just not getting the job done right now. I like that honesty. And I know a lot of people watching and probably going, well, you know, we don't like Dave Roberts. Well, too bad. Dave Roberts is a good manager. And Dave Roberts doesn't really care whether you like him or not. But Dave Roberts is honest. I mean, he calls his players out as a team. He calls it out as a group, not as individuals. He's not going to say, well, you know, Freddie really had a crappy game tonight or Mookie really sucks lately. Not going to say that. But you know what? Don't talk down to the media. Don't talk down to the great baseball fans. And that's what bugs me. Be honest. I mean, there are a lot of you folks out there watching my program right now that know a lot about baseball. And you want honesty. You don't want rose-colored glasses when a team gets beat, you know, 5-3, and you left 9 guys on or were 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. You know, baseball's a tough game. Professional athletics is tough. But hey, you know what? The ball didn't bounce your way that night. You know, we didn't get the job done in a critical situation. There's always excuses. Always excuses. I'm tired of excuses. I want production. I don't need the swagger. I need substance. And more times than not, Mike Schultz just, it's like, ask a question. The other night, somebody asked him a question about Jackson Merrill. He answered everything but the question. I mean, it's very obvious if you watch that Jackson Merrill cannot hit a high fastball right now because he's got that uppercut swing and he's not getting on top of the baseball. So I can say, hey, Jackson's got to, you know, clean up his strike zone a little bit. He's going through a very difficult time. He's working on it. You can be positive, but don't lie to me when I'm watching the game every night. Get on top of the baseball. You know, clean up your strike zone a little bit. Look for a ball in your wheelhouse and nail it. But, you know, it's 38 other, oh, he's a good guy. He's working hard. Just give me some substance. Okay, give me some substance. Okay, let's get out to some live questions. We're going to get to standings. We're going to get to the wild card, some roster moves. And we're also going to talk about the Mountain West Conference a little bit. They were in the news yesterday and again today, so we'll talk about that. Let's get to our questions this morning. Dario, wow. Thank you very much. Boy, that's very kind of you. That's beautiful. Very much appreciate that. Super. Coach, I'm in pain. No life on this team. I agree with you. This team, from day to day, now, I'll tell you this. A lot of times when a team doesn't hit, they look lethargic, they look uninterested. But this team, a lot of these guys have had to play a lot. And I'm not going to make an excuse because that's your job. But Manny plays every day. Bogarts plays every day. Cronenworth plays every day. Arraez plays every day. Tatis, Merrill, those guys, they don't get much time off. And this All-Star break's going to help them and may rejuvenate them. But this team, because of the lack of depth, you can't put some guys in there. Iglesias hasn't hit like I thought he would. I think he was put in the cooler earlier in the year by Mike Shilton. They were just going with Cronenworth against everybody. And Cronenworth, to his credit, has gotten a little bit better lately against left-handed pitching, but I'd get Iglesias a little more playing time because he certainly doesn't give up anything defensively. I mean, he's a great defender, and that could be at second base or third. We really haven't seen him a lot at short, but I think they need to get some of these guys off their feet a little bit more the second half of the season. But I agree with you. This team is limping to the All-Star break on fumes. They really are. And again, what are they? A game under 500 since May 1st. They're still living off of their fast start at the end of March and the month of April. Because aside from that, they're one game under 500 since May 1st. But Dario, thank you very much. That's very kind of you. I very much appreciate that. Very, very kind. Let's see. Keep them rolling here. David, hi, Coach. Dave from Grant Pass. Do you think King will be out for the year? And will he take the $15 million option from the Padres next year? Will he try and test the market? It's a good question. I think it probably comes down. Number one, if he comes back and shows he can be healthy, I would think that he would opt out of that player option. He would get, I believe, a $3.5 million buyout. And then, he'll go out and test the market. Now, if he doesn't come back, and his agent is a little concerned about him being healthy, then they probably would take it for next year. But I think he is going to try to get back. I know he's throwing right now, but I've heard so many mixed opinions about him right now. We'd heard July, then we heard August. Now I'm hearing maybe early September. He wants to come back, and I'm sure it's all for the team. But again, he wants to come back and show everybody in baseball that he's healthy. And if he does come back, throws a couple games, throws well, then I would imagine he'll probably decline the option, take the $3.5 million buyout, and go out on the free agent market. And remember, Joe Musgrove will be back, and Joe's making great progress. Joe would like to come back this year. I'm not going to hold my breath on that. I wish him well. I'm a big Joe Musgrove fan. I wish we had more guys that had the toughness and grit of Joe Musgrove, but those guys are few and far between these days. But again, when Joe comes back next year, he'll have missed, well over a year, and he's going to probably be on some kind of innings restriction. And then you got another year of Yu Darvish. Yu Darvish will be 39 going on 40, and we don't know if you can even hold up this year. So, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, we don't, it's not like we got any young budding stars coming up from the minor leagues on the mound right now. All those guys are way down in the minor leagues at the lower levels. By the way, the draft, as I mentioned, going to be on Sunday. So we'll keep an eye on that. I got to take a look and see exactly where the Padres are drafted and see who they're projected to possibly take if he's still available. But Dave, that's kind of what I see right now. And I have a feeling at the end of the day, Michael King will bet on himself. He'll decline the deal, take the $3.5 million, and then the Padres, of course, could still try to re-sign him though. Dario, wow. Holy Toledo, thank you. I am sick and tired of the 7, 8, 9 holes being automatic outs. Camposano should get at bats again. Maldonado and Diaz are atrocious. Lockridge, BJ, Wade, Iglesias. What is this? You can't compete like this. Well, I'm okay with Iglesias, but, Brian Johnson or Bryce Johnson, he's a roster filler. Tyler Wade last year was used, I thought, pretty well. I thought he added something to the ball club. But you got Iglesias this year, so you don't need Wade. Lockridge is just a filler, a lot like Bryce Johnson. I'll be honest, I like Lockridge better than I like Johnson. And this is nothing personal. I don't know either one of these guys, but I really like the way Lockridge plays. I think he's a little bit better offensive player. And he like Johnson, can play all three positions. But no, Dario, I totally agree. And thank you very much. That's very, very kind to you. I very much appreciate that. Dario, 50, wow. Joe Musgrove talked a big game, signed his bag, and has been hurt. I'm disappointed in him. He dropped a weight on his toe, and now this. Come on now. Well, you know what? Joe Musgrove, I'll take 25 of those guys. And I'm gonna tell you why. This guy is a great competitor. He always has, dating back to his days at Grossmont High School. Yeah, he dropped a weight on his foot. He's had some bad breaks, but the guy shows up. And you know what? Think about this. A lot of these guys that are out for the year, they come in early, they work out, and they go home and go do whatever they're going to do. Joe Musgrove's there day in and day out. He's in the dugout. He travels with the ball club and wants to be a part of the ball club day in and day out where, he doesn't have to do that. Where he's at right now in his rehab, he doesn't have to go with the ball club. He doesn't even have to be at home games if he doesn't want to be. He could come in at 10 o'clock in the morning, work with the training staff, and go home. He definitely doesn't have to travel, but the guy's traveling because he likes being around the ballpark and he wants to be a part of the team. And he's worked with a lot of the younger guys and trying to help them out. Some of these younger pitchers that have come up from the minor leagues, the Stephen Koleks of the world who got optioned out last week. So I'm not going to bag on Musgrove at all. Just some bad breaks. And quite frankly, as Joe last year pitched hurt, and I said that. I said that on my podcast numerous times. This guy is not healthy. I could tell that he was hiding an injury. He was trying to gut it out. So he's one guy I ain't getting on. I got a lot of respect for him. I'm a big Musgrove fan. I was excited about when he became available with Pittsburgh. If you recall, I was doing my radio show then. And, right after the World Series, I said on the air, I go, AJ Preller needs to call the general manager of Tampa and get Blake Snell. It was like the day after the World Series. First day I was on the air after the World Series, I said, you got to call and get Blake Snell. He's going to be available. And then I heard that Musgrove and Stephen Brawl, another guy from Grossmont High School, they were going to be available with Pittsburgh. And I go, man, go get those guys. Bring them back to San Diego. Well, they got Musgrove. Brawl ended up, having an injury and ended his career basically. And then he went back to independent ball and tried to be an outfielder. And I don't think that worked all that well. But we got Musgrove. And, Joe signed that 5-year, $100 million deal, thrown, the first no-hitter in Padre history. Now we got two. Think about that. Waited all those years to get a no-hitter, and we got two within about a 3-year period with Joe and then with Dylan Cease last year. But now Joe's working hard. He worked very, very hard. He's probably ahead of schedule right now. But again, you got to temper it. I don't really want to see him this year. I know psychologically, mentally, he wants to come back just to prove he can get major league hitters out before he goes to the offseason. But I'm okay with him just showing up in Peoria. But if the Padres deem him fit, then go for it. But I'd rather just see him in Peoria, start from scratch, and get ready for the 2026 season. Okay, Dario, good questions today. Okay, what else we got here today? All right, I know waiting for the trade deadline brings more opportunities as more teams become sellers, but can AJ wait to acquire some bats? I would ask you, what bats are there to acquire? Who's available? And what's the price going to be? What are we going to have to give up? Are we going to trade Brandon Lockridge or Martin Maldonado or Elias Diaz or Tyler Wade? I mean, those are the guys we got in the big leagues that are expendable, obviously. What do we have in the minor leagues that anybody wants besides Salas, DeVries, and Cash Mayfield? I mean, seriously, what do we have to trade right now? And if we don't have anybody to trade that somebody wants, then we're going to have to take on a contract, probably just an expiring contract, and rent a vet. But I don't know who's available. I don't know who you want. I would imagine the Giants are going to go after somebody. I would think the Dodgers are going to go after somebody to play left field. Michael Conforto's playing a really, really good left field. But man, the guy's hitting 170. 170. I mean, it's just pathetic. So I don't know. And Arizona, they've got some free agent pieces. They may end up moving. They're 2 games under 500. See how they finish up before the All-Star break. They got 2 more against the Padres here. See what happens. Padres need to win both these games because they got Philadelphia coming in. Philadelphia, we know, is very tough, and they're normally very tough on the Padres. Phillies got them 2 out of 3 last week in Philadelphia. All right, so that's my take. Between now and Friday, I'm going to try to find out who may be available. I'll make a few phone calls, see what we can do. We ran Hedges out of town for hitting 200, and he was much better defender than our current catchers. Yeah, I know. But Austin Hedges became a real pain in the ass, Rich. He was a clubhouse lawyer. Not I can't begin to tell you how disappointed I was in Austin Hedges. I always thought he would hit, but he never made adjustments. I don't know if he didn't take to coaching or just going to do it his way. He's pathetic. He could be a lot better hitter, but he does the same old crap time in and time out. And I don't know. It tells me that he didn't want to be coached. Defensively, he was great. He was great coming out of high school. But offensively, he could have been a lot. He could have had a much better career offensively. But I just think he was too hard-headed. And in San Diego, he got the big head. They're talking about how great he was behind the plate. Well, he was great behind the plate, but he needed a tennis racket to hit with. So very disappointed. And I wasn't sorry to see him go. He was an automatic out. Rich, I hope you're doing well. Like your picture, you're looking good. Okay, what else we got here? All right. I know Manny has reached a milestone lately, but his sub 700 OPS over the past month is alarming. Well, you know, one of the things that would help if the guys in front of him and in back of him were hitting. I mean, Jackson Merrill's been hitting in front of him, and he's hitting so bad they moved him down to 5th last night. I mean, Jackson Merrill's been terrible. And, you know, you got a guy behind it, and I'm not going to bang on Arraez, but Arraez was hitting cleanup. And who would you rather face? Would you rather face Manny or would you rather face Arraez? Well, Manny can do damage. Arraez is going to hit a double once in a while. Not very much going to hit a home run like he did last night. It was his 5th of the year. So, you know, you got to give Manny a little bit of protection. Manny's a hell of a player. There are a lot of guys that like that 700 OPS. Believe me, there are. But Manny will get it going again. Manny will get it going again. I hope Manny has a good all-star game. I'd like to have him really have a signature moment on the big stage. That would be kind of cool. It'd be good for the Padres. All right, what else we got today? Steve Tejas, hi, Coach. If all the guys we gave big money to play like they're supposed to, Arraez is worth keeping. Good point, Steve. And if you got contributions from behind the plate just a little bit, I mean, I'm not asking these guys to be Johnny Bench with the bat or Carlton Fisk or, you know, some of the great hitting catchers of all time. Just don't be an automatic out. Don't bang into a inning-ending 6-4-3 double play with a runner on third. Put the ball in play. Not going to happen. Not going to happen with these guys. Martin Maldonado, we knew what the Padres were getting with him before opening day. Now, Diaz, on the other hand, I thought would, you know, you look at his career number, he'd been a pretty decent major league hitter for a catcher. But, you know, left field has been an issue. I think that has been solved. What are the Padres going to do with Gavin Sheets? Holy Sheets, holy Sheets. I would think he would want to come back, but what do you pay him? That's another guy you got to figure out. Now, he solved the left field spot. He really improved defensively, too. Him and David Macias, the first base coach, who's the outfield and stolen base coach or base running coach, done a great job. Those guys have done a hell of a job. Got to figure out who your designated hitter is. I don't think it's going to be Trenton Brooks. I can't see Trenton Brooks. And no offense to the kid from Granite Hills High School, but I can't see him in the playoffs as the designated hitter for the Padres. Can you? Padres, man, their bench, man. It's for as much money has been spent on this ball club to have a bench like this, man, just pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. But Steve, thank you very much. Hope all is well. Stay cool up there in Porterville. Okay, what else we got today? Dario, Coach, I'm mad. Yesterday in a 1-0 ball game in the 8th, they were doing the wave. Disgrace to the game. I love Coach. Don't see this in Boston. No, the wave is outdated, isn't it? But you know what? Here's the difference, Dario, between you and me and a lot of people. You and I probably go to the games to watch baseball. A lot of other people go to the games for entertainment. And I understand to a certain degree, players are entertainers, but they're not entertaining when they're walking with their bat in their hand, going and their head in their hands, walking back to the dugout. You're entertaining when you're banging a ball in the gap, going first to third, scoring on a ball to left field and a big slide at home plate, or striking out a guy with the bases loaded, or hitting a game-winning home run. That's entertaining. What I watched the last two nights wasn't all that entertaining. I mean, Arraez ran into that one last night in the seventh inning. The only thing that was entertaining last night was how easily Merrill Kelly retired the Padres most of the night. 7 innings on 77 pitches. Nick Pivetta pitched well, but man, I'll tell you what, he had to work his tail off. I mean, they had him where the hairs were short. But, to Nick's credit, he did a hell of a job getting out of a couple of tough situations. That situation in the fourth inning, bases loaded, one out, and he struck out Suarez and Goriel Jr. Hell of an effort by Pivetta. But, I go to the game, bearing down wanting to watch the game. I could care less about the ancillary stuff that goes on. The thing I do appreciate is the inning when they ask all the military past and present to stand, and we honor the military. That's entertainment for me. Some of the other stuff I could care less about. I really could. I'm not worried about beer fest, wine fest, suck fest, or whatever else. I'm there to watch a baseball game. So that's me. All these other guys, half these guys they're talking about baseball on the radio, they don't know a baseball from a grapefruit. They really don't. I mean, they talk about what they're told to talk about. And then there's some guys on the stations that, know the game a little bit. There's a lot to know about this game. This game's tough. And you got to understand and be able to read situations. And you got to know and have been in those situations to understand a lot of them. But Dario, that's my take. And again, I go to the ball game to watch a ball game, not walk around drinking a beer and talking crap. I don't want to miss a pitch. Remember, if you miss the first pitch, you haven't seen the whole ball game. Okay, what else we got? All right, Dario, another one. Man, you're fired up today. Are we ready to have the conversation that Tatis is a good player but not a superstar? He's had one of the worst 2 months I've seen in a while. Don't get me started with Xander, that bum. Well, at least while Xander Bogaerts continues to work hard and try to make adjustments, we're not going to ever see, I don't believe, the Xander Bogaerts that they saw in Boston. Okay. Um, I'm not convinced to this day, and I'll get to Fernando in a minute. I'm not convinced to this day that AJ Preller wanted to sign Xander Bogaerts. It made no sense. I remember when this signing came down, I was at the Army Navy game, and I was doing a show on a Friday. And when I signed off, we went to the Petco Park press conference. Let me say this about Xander Bogaerts. He's a true pro. He's a good guy. He's a hard worker. But some guys age faster than others. And, maybe, he's one of those guys that isn't going to play deep into his 30s. He may play deep into his 30s because, he wants that paycheck. But I think he's also a man of honor. If he wasn't getting it done, or, who knows, he may walk away. I probably not. But I'm not going to bag on him because the guy does what he needs to do to try to get better. It's not like he, is fat. Like Rafael Devers. You hear that story about Rafael Devers? I mean, this guy signed a contract for over $300 million. He doesn't want to play first base in Boston. And Boston screwed that up to a certain degree. But now he comes to a new team. Instead, he'd play first base. And Will Clark shows up on Friday, Saturday, Sunday last week. And Devers never shows up. And they weren't even going to take ground balls or throws. Will Clark was going to show him about footwork and playing first base. The guy never showed up. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, right there, that's when you ought to be able to suspend a guy for insubordination. You got to show up, man. The team wants you to come out early to work on first base or maybe extra hitting, and you don't want to come out. Screw you, man. You got to get suspended. I'll tell you the other thing. I'm getting tired of these guys that sign these contracts and they don't do squat. I mean, they had to go, and I know it'll never happen. But if you wanted to see guys really play, have non-guaranteed contracts like they have in football. I mean, guys in football, you fumble or you miss a couple of blocks, man, they cut your rear end. You don't get a paycheck. I don't like paying guys big money for what they did do, not what they're going to do. And how many of these guys don't get the job done? A lot, high percentage of them. And I'll tell you, there are ball clubs that are dumb too. I mean, really dumb. I mean, Max Scherzer has been hurt most of the year. Watch him pitch, and he'll have his good innings and bad innings like everybody, but he's over the hill. I wouldn't pay that guy a dime. Justin Verlander, he hadn't won a game yet this year. He's 0-6 with the Giants. They're paying for the name. They're not paying for production. You know, the teams are dumb, man. They sign guys just to make it look good at the press conference. It's amazing to me. Got to win the press conference. Got to show the fans you're doing something dynamic. I mean, Justin Verlander's 0-6. He's had a couple of good games, but he's 0-6. I watched Scherzer last week. He wasn't very good. These guys are living off the past, but teams are dumb enough to keep paying these guys big money. It's amazing to me. Now, as far as Fernando, and it's interesting, Dario, you bring that up. You know, I have said for 6 years now, Fernando's my favorite player, but Fernando's not the same player. He's just not. And I don't know if he needs to change the scenery. He's gotten too comfortable here. The Padres haven't won enough. He wants to play with the bright lights of New York or, somewhere else. But he's a little bit better average player right now. He really is. I mean, he's not an average player. He's a little bit better average, but he's not the same player. I mean, take a look at his numbers. Look at his career numbers, and you tell me. And I don't know if he'll ever get that back. I mean, I don't know if he'll ever get it back. I don't know if we're ever going to see him hit 42 home runs in a season again. Look at those numbers. And then look at, since the accident and the PED suspension, take a look at his numbers. Maybe he doesn't like playing right field. Maybe he wants to go back to shortstop. Maybe he wants to go to an organization that'll let him play shortstop. Maybe he's bored. But, he's got a lot of flair, no question about that. But we need more production. This guy should be one of the best players in baseball, I think. Maybe I'm expecting too much. But that's how I would answer that. Okay, what else we got? A lot of questions today. Okay, let's get to the National League West standings and the wild card. As Jonathan Oliveri puts those up. Dodgers, again, they're playing today in Milwaukee. They're really reeling. They've lost 5 in a row. Got swept by Houston and really got outplayed 3 straight days, and they've been outplayed the first 2 days in Milwaukee. They got the game today. Tyler Glasnow coming off the IL. See how deep he can go in the ball game. And then the Dodgers will be off on Thursday, and they'll finish the first half with 3 games up at Oracle Park against the Giants over the weekend. But right now, Dodgers 19 games over 500 at 56-37. Giants 51-42, 5 games back. Padres 6 games back, 49-42. Diamondbacks still under the 500 mark at 45-47, 10.5 back. And how about the Colorado Rockies? They're only 50 games under 500 as we approach the All-Star break. 34.5 games out. Unbelievable. All right, let's get to a wild card. National League wild card. Now, this is interesting because right now, Philadelphia is, because of tiebreakers now, Philadelphia is the number 1 wild card. They're technically tied for first right now with identical records with the New York Mets. So they're right there. Okay. So then you got Milwaukee, basically number 2, because one of those teams is going to be the division winner, either the Mets or Phillies. Then you got the Giants at number 3. Padres a game back right now. Cardinals a game and a half back. Cincinnati 4.5 back. And they're not getting great news on Hunter Green, that outstanding pitcher from Los Angeles. Man, he's a great guy. I saw him play in the area code games as a shortstop and as a pitcher. That guy throws 100 miles an hour. He's something special. And so there you have it. I don't think Cincinnati have the pitching. They may hang in there in that division, But Padres right now, they got a lot of work to do. They got a lot of work to do. I think a lot of people look at the Padres as maybe being a little bit disappointing this year, but I think it is what it is. Okay, I wanted to mention the roster moves, and it came down on Monday. Yu Darvish reinstated from the 60-day IL. Michael King transferred from the 15-day IL to the 30-day IL. He's obviously already surpassed that. Kyle Hart optioned back to AAA El Paso. Hart picked up the win in relief Sunday night against Texas. He was outstanding, I thought. 3 2/3, no hits, no runs, no walks, 43 pitches, 32 strikes, 2 strikeouts. And I just wanted to share. Listen to these numbers for Kyle Hart. Okay. At Petco Park this year, the guy has been incredible. 4 games at Petco, 3 starts, 3-0 record with a 3.26 ERA, 19 and a third innings. Now pay attention to this. 19 and a third innings, 12 hits, 7 runs, all earned, 1 walk, 11 strikeouts, given up 4 home runs, and batters have hit 176 against Kyle Hart at Petco Park. Now on the road, hide the women and children. 3 games, all starts, 0-2 with a 10.80 ERA. 10 innings pitched on the road in 3 starts, 17 hits, 12 runs, all earned, 5 walks, 8 strikeouts, 4 homers, and hitters on the road are hitting 370 against Kyle Hart. And at Petco Park, they were hitting 176. Overall, he's 3-2 and a 5.83. I guess you just got to call him up when you're in homestand. Don't let the guy pitch on the road. So, anyways, I wanted to share that with you today. Okay, last thing we're going to get to. And that's going to be the Mountain West Conference. Yesterday, they had a Grand Canyon University for the upcoming school year, 2025-2026. Originally, the Antelopes were scheduled to join the Mountain West Conference on my birthday, July 1st, 2026. Now, apparently, San Diego State, Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, Utah State that are leaving for the Pac-12 after this upcoming year, they're not happy about it. Well, you know what? Tough for them, because when they decided to leave, they lost their spot on the board. They lost their voting rights, and the Mountain West Conference has got to look out for their conference. And so now they're saying, hey, Grand Canyon's coming in. And so apparently San Diego State and all the other schools, they're all bitching, moaning, and complaining. Well, I got news for you. Well, wait until the block charge call comes down in a tight basketball game. See which team gets it. The guy that's staying in the Mountain West Conference or the team that's going to the Pac-12. It'll be interesting to see how some of those games are officiated next year in all sports, let alone in basketball. But they got kicked off the board because they were leaving, so they have no voting rights. And so the Mountain West Conference said, hey, you know what? In the spirit of partnership, we're bringing in Grand Canyon this year. Now, I don't know what it's going to do to a lot of the schedules, because in basketball, I think they playing 20 games right now in basketball, conference games, and the coaches really didn't want to play that many because they wanted to play some tougher non-conference games to help the RPI. But now we'll have to figure out exactly what they're going to do. They're going to have to go back and redo the schedule a little bit. But you know what? The schools complain all they want, but they lost their right to have a say when they decided to leave the conference. And I'll tell you, Grand Canyon for the Mountain West Conference, that's a good get. They don't have football, but we know they got a good basketball program because they've beaten San Diego State a couple of times over the years. They got a great coach in Bryce Drew. They got an outstanding baseball program. In fact, I would think in baseball this next year, they might be the team to beat in the Mountain West Conference in baseball. I'd have to look into their other sports, but man, Jerry Colangelo, longtime sports executive over there with the Phoenix Suns, he's the guy that really got that athletic program going. And I think it's a great get for the Mountain West Conference. And I was looking up their basketball record this morning. Last year, they made the NCAA tournament. They went 26-8, and they won 13-3 in the WAC, and they won the WAC tournament championship. They got beaten in the first round by Maryland, but they're a good basketball team, good basketball program, and San Diego State ought to just start thinking about being in the Pac-12. Not that you're going to dismiss this year, But you got to look ahead and you got to figure out how you're going to do a better job of recruiting. You got to recruit, man. All the coaches got to recruit. You can't recruit, you're out. You got to be able to recruit. And you got to keep finding a way to bring in more NIL money. I'm not sure how that's going to work. I'm looking forward to the first football game. They play Stony Brook on a Thursday night. They haven't announced the time yet. I imagine they're trying to work out a deal to get it on TV, but I want to go. I just got to find out the time. But anyways, that's the story on the Mountain West Conference. Mountain West Conference is going to do what's best for them as a conference, not what's best for the teams, the 5 teams that are leaving the conference. I can tell you that. All right, that's going to do it. Aside from, we got to get a couple of questions from our last program. I got a little excited there. Let's get to a couple of those on Coach's Mailbag. King Noise, will Duran be traded at all? Still hoping the Padres make the move for him. Jordan Duran not having a great year, had a great season a year ago. Not having a great year right now. I think that situation in Boston is very toxic. Maybe getting him out of there might rejuvenate him, get him back to the West Coast here. Not sure what the Padres would have to give up for him. I'm not going to give up a whole lot because you've got 2 really good outfielders. You got Gavin Sheets. And they'd probably, if Duran came, you'd probably make Sheets the designated hitter. And yeah, the other positive about Duran, you'd have him under control for a few years. I think you'd have him for at least 2 to 3 years under control. And again, he's a guy that's in his very late 20s. I don't know. I don't think he's quite turned 30 yet. I think he's 29 right now. But we'll have to wait and see. Again, I just don't know what the Padres have, and I don't know what other organizations, how they look at the Padre farm system right now. Okay, what else we got here? Let's grab another one. User 23423. I was impressed with Darvish return. Now we need back Joe and King, and I'll feel a lot better about the second half. Joe ain't coming back. I don't believe. Not until maybe late in September if he comes back at all. King, I'd put just a question mark next to his name until he's on the mound. Kind of like Darvish, question mark. I thought, as I mentioned in my open, I thought he looked pretty good the other night. Lacked the command, but you could tell he's been working on a lot of his breaking stuff, kind of reinventing himself at 38, going on 39 years of age. And overall, I thought he did a pretty good job. Probably pitched better than I expected the other night. That's my take on that. Thank you very much. Very much appreciate that. And King Guard, what is happening with Merrill? He made a few good plays, but not great at the plate. Anything you notice? Yeah, he's not swinging at strikes, and you can't get to the high fastball. He's trying to lift that high fastball, and he's swinging under. You got that loop in his swing right now. You got to work on trying to get the barrel through the hitting area and get on top of the baseball. And during batting practice, he shouldn't worry about driving the ball. What he ought to be working on, being a left-hand hitter, he ought to be working on driving line drives right at the shortstop and the second baseman. Just try to level that swing out a little bit and get the barrel through the hitting area, because right now everything's dragging and everything's an upswing. And everybody that's watching tape of him, everybody's approaching it the same way right now. Last 2 or 3 series, everybody going to get him up in the zone. He hit one ball last night up in the zone. First time he's really done any damage at all. He hit a mid-range ball to center field, but he can't get to that high fastball. He's got to stay on top of the baseball a little bit better. But mentally, he looks a little bit checked out right now. Well, watch him. Watch his mannerisms, watch his visual expressions, watch his eyes. It looks a little bit checked out right now and a little more than a little bit frustrated. Kingsguard, very good. I appreciate that. And I think that's going to do it. Again, good show today, man. A lot to cover. Friday, we're going to break down the final 2 games of the Diamondback series. We'll preview the Phillies, and we'll also hopefully track down somebody to talk about the local players that could possibly go in the MLB draft. Remember, the MLB draft is 10 rounds. Also, as I get out of here, I want to remind you to subscribe, like, and turn on your notifications. And also just wanted to mention the starting pitchers tonight and for Thursday night. Tonight it'll be right-hander Brandon Pfaadt, 8-6 and a 5.42 ERA, going against Padre right-hander Dylan Cease, 3-8 and a 4.62 ERA. Tomorrow, final game of the 4-game series, left-hander Eduardo Rodriguez, 3-5 and a 5.78, going against Padre right-hander Randy Vasquez, 3-4 and a 3.79. Remember, both games Wednesday night and Thursday night at 6:40. Until Friday morning at 9 a.m., have a great couple of days, everyone. Enjoy the baseball, and we'll look forward to revisiting with you Friday morning at 9 a.m. Have a great day. Bye-bye.